Hello guys, welcome to yet another video. Finally, it's race week. I miss times where we had races back to back and back to back weekends, to be honest. But we'll get there in the season. But I just wish we could have like back to back races for once at the beginning of the season. It will make so much sense. But well, listen, we can't complain about what we don't have, but we can be grateful for what we have. So without further ado, let's get into the video of this week. It's the Japanese Grand Prix, one of my favorite tracks in Formula One. I don't think that track has low speed corners. There's mostly medium and high speed corners. So that is one thing that makes me love that track so much, and it has a lot of curves. Oof, so much curves. Anyway, yeah. So what has been happening in Formula One for the past 1 week, I think, because we didn't have a race. I think this time Formula One was much more quiet. I think if you know what was happening in Formula One in the previous weeks, I think the first 2 weeks was like insane. There was just bombshell after bombshell after drama. It's just so much. But now it's more tame, more it's something calm. But well, I can update you on what has been happening so far. I think the biggest thing so far throughout the break was mostly, I think it had to do with Daniel Ricciardo. He's still under criticisms, but sorry, he's still facing criticism from Dr. Helmut Marko. But I guess that's what every Red Bull Racing affiliated driver is gonna face. But because I think Red Bull, as everyone knows, they're trying to get Daniel Ricciardo into the senior team second seat, but so far this season he's not been performing well, and there's been a lot of rumors saying, oh, maybe if Daniel Ricciardo doesn't perform in the next two races, it's gonna be dropped by Red Bull Racing. I think that has been confirmed not to be true, and Daniel Ricciardo is still safe for now, but I think for his own sake he needs to start performing. Yeah, and also Alpine, one of the surprise trash teams of the season to be. I rated them so high, but what they've shown us so far this season is that they don't have their stuff together. They need help. Basically, they need help, and I hope they can turn the tide around. I think this weekend, what I saw in the news, they're bringing in some new upgrades to their front wing and something at the back. So let's see if maybe that will help their performance. Maybe they will not qualify 17 and 18. Last race week, that's 2 weeks ago, Esteban Ocon was able to put the car into Q2. So maybe with this upgrades, maybe both cars can get into Q2 and maybe even fight for a top 10 position during qualifying. Definitely not during the race. I don't see Alpine scoring points except if there's a miracle that happens during the race, to be honest. And how about Mercedes? In the last race, both Mercedes didn't finish the race. Hamilton with an engine failure and George Russell crashing at the last lap. Russell crashing at the last lap. Meant Verstappen wasn't winning, so I think it's part of the concussion. If you've not seen that last video, go watch it. You understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and also they've been dealing with an issue of heating their tires, putting them in the right window to especially in qualifying sessions to help them be up the grid. But if they can fix that issue, maybe they can do much better this weekend. Fingers crossed. Let's see how they do. Also, I think because the track temperatures are going to be much cooler this week, maybe that might help Mercedes. We don't know, but we'll see. And also, during the car launch this season, I am sure I saw somewhere that the Red Bull team were going to bring a special design to Suzuka. And it was about having a car that had no side port. The no side port concept that Mercedes started. So I think there was something in the news that Mercedes would bring a car with no side ports to the Japanese Grand Prix. Will they do it? I don't know. Fingers crossed. I think I have been seeing some things online where people are saying, "Oh, they might not bring it because the performance they thought they were going to have, they don't have that advantage as much." So I don't think they're going to risk anything because they don't want. Since the battle with Ferrari is quite close. So far what we've seen from Ferrari this season, they are definitely that number two car that's chasing the Red Bull, keeping them humble. Like keeping them on guard. Like if you mess up here, these guys are going to sweep off the points. So yeah, but let's see how that goes. Maybe they will bring the Red Bull with no side pods, and then that would be like a slap on Mercedes' face, to be honest, because they tried to make that concept work, but it didn't. So fingers crossed, we'll see what happens over the weekend. And Williams, hopefully they fix their second car because what they did in the last race, honestly, that's unfair. Shout out to Logan Sargent for taking the back seat and letting Alex drive his car. And yeah, hopefully they fix that car and now they have maybe a spare chassis just in case something happens. Because I remember last year during, I think it's either during qualifying session or during it should be during one of the qualifying sessions. Logan Sargent crashed. So if that happened last year, there's a high chance it might happen this year. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but they should have an extra chassis at least on track in case anything happens to any of the drivers. Then they can go ahead and replace the car without any issue. Well, I think that's much of what has been going on in Formula One for the past 1 week. Also, I think there's been some changes in McLaren. I think they hired someone new, they let someone go, but that's not important. Right now, let's get into my predictions for the weekend. And as you know how we start with the flop of the week. So the last race was exciting. And Carlos Sainz won. Like P1. But it was in the absence of Max Verstappen. We know Max had a brake problem on his car, which caught the car caught fire and he had to retire the car. So in this case, my flop of the week is gonna be Carlos Sainz. I'm sorry, Carlos. Listen, if Carlos performs anything below top 5, it's a flop. That's just saying, because from a win, the minimum you can get, I mean, with the speed of that Ferrari as well, minimum fourth, let's say the least you can do for a car of that with that kind of performance. Let's say fifth position. That's it. Carlos Sainz has to finish this fifth. If he goes anything below that, I am sure that will count as a flop. Yes. So my flop of the week is going to be Carlos Sainz. I mean, he has had an amazing last week, but we don't know what's gonna happen this week in Suzuka. So let's see. And my surprise driver of the week is the home hero of this weekend, which is Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki is at home in front of his home crowd. I think he's pretty confident at the moment with the result he had in Australia. I think he finished P7 after Alonso's penalty. So right now he's beaming with confidence. He had a great drive. He's at home in front of his fans. He knows the track very well. Let's see what Yuki can do. I hope he can put on a good performance for his own sake. I mean, because he as well is also fighting for that second Red Bull seat, right? So maybe may his dominance continue. So far, he has beaten Ricciardo in qualifying 3-0. Can he make it 4-0? Let's see. And also, he has scored all the points for his team. Can Ricciardo score points? We don't know. I think that's one of my predictions. I'm coming to it very soon. So for pole position, I'm going to go with Max Verstappen. Listen, Max Verstappen is coming this weekend to put all of us in our places. Like, he is saying, I am back and there's nothing you can do against it. A lot of people were celebrating last week during the last race, when Max Verstappen retired. He is coming with vengeance. I guarantee you that. This reminds me of what happened last year after the Singaporean Grand Prix, where I think he finished P5 because the car was having issue in qualifying, and in Singapore it's very hard to overtake. And he came back in Suzuka and he obliterated the entire grid, including his own teammate. I think he finished something close to, I think, it was almost 20 something seconds ahead of P2. So, and he topped every time session from FP1, FP2, FP3, qualifying, the race, fastest lap. He got everything. He came back mad. And for what happened last week? Last week, I keep saying last week because it feels like that, you know. So for what happened in Australia, I am sure Max is coming with something in the box for us. He's gonna obliterate everything. His Max is gonna win. You already know my P1. He's gonna win. He's gonna get the fastest lap. He's gonna get pole position. I don't know if he's gonna top the timesheets for all the sessions this year, but we'll see. But everybody knows an angry Max is not a Max you want to see. But let's see what happens. And for my top three, I'm going, as I said earlier, Max Verstappen P1. In P2, I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc. Hopefully, he has a better weekend this time. No brake problems as he has had so far this season. I think he's always managing an issue, or maybe it's an excuse every time he's being overtaken by his teammate. But is it? But we'll see. Hopefully, he has a clean weekend this time. I think Charles Leclerc in a decent form with the Ferrari. He's very fast, so he can manage P2. And in P3, I am gonna go with Sergio Perez. Now, Sergio Perez had a bit of a stinker in the last race, to be honest, but can't blame him so much. I expected him to, as when Max retired the car, I expected Sergio to maybe even be on the podium or maybe even win the race, but he didn't do any of those things. He finished P5 in the race, but it was announced later that Sergio was dealing with a broken flaw on his car. So hopefully this week he has a clean weekend, because last year it was terrible. He had a disastrous. Oh my God. If anyone remembers what happened in Suzuka last year, I think he qualified poorly. He qualified maybe P11 or P12, and he crashed during the race, damaged his car, ruined, and he ruined Kevin Magnussen's race. I'm just trying to recollect everything. He crashed the car, ruined K-Mag's race, and then he had to also retire the car. And after retiring, I think he had to come back again into the race to serve a penalty. That entire thing was chaotic. It was just chaotic for him. So hopefully he has a better 2024 in Suzuka, and let's see how that goes. So my P3, Sergio Perez. And for my crazy prediction of this week is for Daniel Ricciardo to score his first points of the season. I don't care if it's P10, P9, P8, but Daniel Ricciardo to score points this weekend. I think if Daniel can score points, it's going to take a lot of pressure off his neck, to be honest, because there's so much on him right now. And if he's really auditioning to go to that second Red Bull seat alongside Max Verstappen, no better way to do it than to do it at the home of your engine manufacturer, really, and to beat your teammate who is the home hero here, you know. So Daniel Ricciardo to score some points. Let me give a recap of my predictions. So we take it from the top. Flop of the week, Carlos Sainz. Coming from his win in Australia, I think he might flop a bit. And I said anything less than P5 is a flop for Carlos Sainz. And surprise driver of the week is gonna be Yuki Tsunoda, home hero, in front of his home fans. What could possibly go wrong, right? So yeah. And pole position, Max Verstappen, no doubt. P1 pole position, Max Verstappen. The top three in the race on the podium, that is gonna be Max Verstappen by far. At least if there is no safety car, at least 20 seconds. He's gonna comfortably. P2 Charles Leclerc and P3 Sergio Perez. So let's see how that goes. And then crazy prediction, Daniel Ricciardo to finally score some points this season. If my predictions should come true, that means the Racing Bulls team are gonna have a double point finish. But let's see how that goes. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Be safe. Bye for now.